Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. This week we talk renewable fuels with Emily Skor, the CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association. We all know there's lots going on in ethanol right now. We'll also have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, and the Kansas Farm Bureau, and the weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
In agricultural news from agview.net, the Kansas State University Department of Agriculture Economics announcing it has surpassed its $2 million fundraising goal for the Barry Flinchbaugh Chair in Agriculture Economics. The chair honors the late Flinchbaugh's contribution to food and ag policy across the state and the nation, as well as his contributions as a teacher, mentor, and influencer. According to department head Dr. Alan Featherstone, he said history records Flinchbaugh's legacy as an influencer and educator in agriculture policy and economics, and he leaves a lasting impact on the department, university, and the agriculture industry. He added that Barry's dream was to endow a chair in perpetuity that would provide risk capital to continue to build upon the national and state legacy that he established. Featherstone says the chair will be used to recruit and retain the highest quality faculty within the Department of Agriculture Economics and provide that risk capital to allow innovative activities in agricultural policy. Well, the Federal Trade Commission ordering 9 large retailers, wholesalers, and consumer goods suppliers to provide more detailed information on supply chain disruptions. The information will also show how disruptions are causing hardships for consumers and harming competition in the U.S. economy. The orders are being sent to Walmart, Amazon, Kroger, C&S Wholesale Grocers, Associated Wholesale Grocers, McLean Company, Procter & Gamble, Tyson Foods, and Kraft Heinz. The companies will have 45 days from the date they receive that order to respond. Now, the order requires that the companies detail the primary factors that disrupted their ability to obtain, transport, and distribute their products, and the impact of those disruptions, and the most affected products, and the steps taken to alleviate disruptions, and how that the companies allocate products among their stores when they are in short supply. And the National Pork Producers Council this week thanked the Biden administration for extending to February 28th of next year a waiver for commercial truckers from the federal hours of service regulation. The rule limits truckers to 11 hours of driving time and 14 consecutive hours of on-duty time in any 24-hour period, and also requires prescribed rest periods. Now, at the start of COVID-19, back in March of 2020, the FMCSA included livestock haulers in an initial emergency declaration that provided for exemption from those hours of service regulations for commercial truckers hauling essential supplies, including livestock. So that waiver subsequently was expanded to cover the delivery of livestock feed. So back in August, they also extended that waiver to November 30th, and a provision in the recently passed infrastructure bill, it's been signed into law, expands the miles that agriculture truckers can drive without hours of service restrictions. You can find more on these and other stories at agview.net. Stay with us. Emily Skor from Growth Energy will join us in a few moments.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
We're joined by Emily Skor, the CEO of Growth Energy, and we're going to talk ethanol. Imagine that. Emily, you've been spending a lot of time on the Hill this year advocating, trying to find answers, and I think that's probably, when we find an answer, it's not been the full answer.
Yes, I actually testified for the second time this year before the House Agricultural Subcommittee. The topic of the conversation was renewable energy in our rural economy. I was very glad to see that biofuels were really center stage in the conversation. Republicans and Democrats kind of joining me in talking about how we need more biofuels. That is the solution to lower carbon needs. That is the solution to rising gas prices. And that is certainly the solution to driving more jobs, clean energy jobs in rural America.
What is the missing link? I mean, yes, we have, there should be a good equal balance, but there seems to be something missing when it comes to renewables and ethanol, who's now been around. It's not a brand new industry anymore.
It's not a brand new industry, but my gosh, we are doing so much on the side of innovation that much of the data in terms of our ability to reduce our carbon intensity is new. So part of what we have to do is educate, and we've been educating the new administration on corn ethanol, 46% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions relative to gasoline. With technologies, we can get up to 100% reductions. And so we've got to make sure that the new team in Washington, they understand we are the ready, available, affordable solution to your climate agenda. We can be used in today's car. And you don't need a new infrastructure. You don't need a new auto fleet to be able to benefit from low carbon biofuels.
It seems like, E10, E15, E30, whatever, we've had some investment, but has it been enough, or have we just lagged some? Again, looking for the adoption or the adaptation question.
So we want to get to that tipping point in any marketplace when suddenly everybody flips to E15, and we're close. I mean, we do have good momentum. I think right now we've got over 2,500 stations selling E15. We should be at about 3,000 by the end of the year. So every week, more retailers come online because they see this is something that is a value product for their customers. It's nice to give them fuel choices, and the retailer is making money as well on this. But that's why we need. It kind of goes back to policy that can help expedite and accelerate the development. We need year-round sales of E15. Certainly, we've got to get that back. We lost it in a court case this summer, and we've got to make sure that the market signals and the policy signals coming out of Washington show there is going to be more of a marketplace, more of a demand to blend biofuel. So we've got to get that out there for consumers to use in the car.
Emily Skor, CEO of Growth Energy, is joining us. We're going to come back and talk more about, the politics of ethanol. With that in just a moment. You looking for her?
Yeah. Okay.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Emily Skor, the CEO of Growth Energy, is joining us. Okay, we've talked about, what you've been doing in D.C., being in front of Congress, but again, really the peanut of all this is policy. Once people get an opportunity and once they get educated, they're accepting of it, at least or those that are vehemently opposed to it say, okay, there is a pot, because we've gone beyond buzzword of sustainability. It's now in practice.
So we're at the point now, there's been a lot, ambitious goals have been set by the administration. Net zero emissions by 2050 as a nation, even standard goals in terms of reducing emissions for on the aviation fuel side as well. So now we've got to put the plans into action, and that's where I think we will have hopefully more of an ability to really get some traction with the administration. If you want to achieve that goal, you have to have us. There was a report earlier this year by a center-left climate analysis group that said you cannot achieve net zero goals without the support of biofuels. So a lot of our work is showing the policymakers these are some of the policy mechanisms that will unleash the potential of biofuels so you can hit your greenhouse gas climate reduction goals. So for example, if we as a nation, if we move from E10 to E15, the greenhouse gas reduction is the equivalent of removing 4 million cars from the road. That would create 182,000 new clean energy jobs, and it would save consumers $12.2 billion in fuel costs every year. Those are meaningful statistics. That's something that we can do as an industry today. So we've got to continue to get these opportunities before policymakers so they know they've got to set the strong signals for the rest of the country to follow.
So is that where the future is? Is it what can be done between now and, say, the next election, when everybody seems to be already looking that way to what changes might happen, or what can be done, what can be done from the ground level, those ground troops?
Well, and what can be done today? Mm-hmm. So we don't need a new auto fleet. We don't need entirely new infrastructure as a nation. We have a fuel option that can be used in today's cars. It's affordable to all communities. And so, yes, as you are looking to be able to show some victories and some achievements as a policymaker, let's take advantage of the renewable fuel standard. Let's take advantage of E15 in the marketplace. We don't need new laws to be able to do that. We simply need to kind of follow through on administering the laws that we have on the books.
Before we go, refinery exemptions, there's so much confusion. Were they done? Were they not? Will they be? Won't they be? When will it ever be done? Or is that just something we're always going to have to deal with nobody making a decision?
Well, hopefully, actually, I think that's going to change, and I think for the better. Under the Trump administration, the Trump EPA really abused small refinery exemptions to the tune of 4.3 billion gallons of lost demand for us as an industry. Since coming in January, this administration has been very clear. They want to take a different approach to small refinery exemptions. They have not granted any, and they've denied one. And so that is a good sign. And we still have about 65 pending. So there's 65 decisions more to be made. But I do think this administration will take a different approach to our satisfaction on the exemption front.
Very good. Emily Skor, the CEO of Growth Energy, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a few moments. Great.
Great.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
I'm Greg Krisick with Kansas Corn and wanted to share a little bit of information today about the Next Generation Fuels Act, a very important piece of federal legislation that Kansas and national corn growers are working on in Washington, D.C. This piece of legislation would provide an opportunity to create our liquid fuel system for the future, for probably the next 40 to 50 years. Creating an octane standard of 98 RON. Today's octane standard is 91 RON. This will create a system for better and more environmentally friendly fuels. It will provide an opportunity for ethanol to be in the blend of gasoline up to 30% and actually reduce our carbon emissions by about that same 30%. If approved, it would also create an opportunity for the market demand for an additional 1.8 billion bushels of corn, as well as creating the fueling infrastructure or incentivizing the fueling infrastructure for these higher ethanol blends. A strong market development and public policy opportunity for corn growers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
We're right in the middle of the holiday season, and here at the Kansas Department of Agriculture, that seems a perfect time to take stock of what we're thankful for this year. We're thankful for the farmers, ranchers, agribusiness owners, and all of you who work day in and day out raising livestock and growing crops and providing agricultural products that make up the food, fuel, and fiber we need across the state, the nation, and the world. We're thankful for the people who educate and inform both current and future members of the Kansas ag community. The extension agents, conservation district staff, high school ag teachers, 4-H leaders, and more. They keep us all at the top of our game with the critical skills and knowledge to perform at our best. We're thankful for the advocates for agriculture who serve as a voice for the industry, especially the commodity organizations, which provide a sense of community for their members and which share their stories to the rest of the world. We're thankful for the innovators and entrepreneurs, all those who are creatively developing new ways to help us all do more with less, who see a problem and seek to be part of the solution. We're thankful for the thousands of neighbors in our communities who provide other kinds of support to the agriculture industry, like truck drivers, healthcare workers, information technology experts, and community bankers. And we're thankful for those who tell our stories on the radio and TV, in newspapers and magazines, and on digital platforms, blogs, and social media. You help connect us to the rest of the world, sharing the faces of agriculture and chronicling the histories of the critical work we do in Kansas agriculture. So to all of you, on behalf of the Kansas Department of Agriculture, in this season of gratitude, I say thank you.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know-to-Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas State University researchers have published their recent findings that highlight their discovery of a gene in ancient wheat that gives superior strength and elasticity to bread dough. The work is part of a larger project involving research groups worldwide and spanning more than 50 years of collecting 242 unique accessions of Aegilops tauschii, a wild goat grass that is one of the parent species of modern bread wheat and has a history that reaches nearly 10,000 years. K-State's researchers are partners in the Open Wild Wheat Consortium that includes 38 research groups from 17 countries. Their focus is to improve farm crops by exploring useful genetic diversity in Aegilops tauschii. K-State's research credited the work of the Wheat Genetics Resource Center, an internationally recognized facility that hosts a large gene bank, including more than 3,000 wild wheat accessions and 4,000 cytogenic stocks, the genetic treasures produced by a lifetime of work by wheat scientists around the world. The Wheat Genetics Resource Center is housed in the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan. The staff in the Wheat Genetics Resource Center continue to search for more genetic discoveries in wild wheat ancestors, including partnerships with wheat industry members in the National Science Foundation Industry University Collaborative Research Center. K-State researchers are leading an IUCRC project with USDA scientist Mary Gutierrez and K-State wheat breeder Alan Fritz, where they are profiling additional genes from the wild wheat relatives for potential use in improving milling and baking qualities.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
The Kansas Beef Council partnered with the Oklahoma and Texas Beef Councils to host a Checkoff-sponsored webinar focused on early childhood nutrition. Pediatric nutrition expert and registered dietitian Kelly Hawthorne provided the most up-to-date dietary recommendations for young children to 275 attendees, who included physicians, nurses, and registered dietitians. Hawthorne's presentation paired nutrition science with practical tips, including a demonstration of how to create and feed developmentally appropriate foods, such as beef, to optimize healthy growth and development of young children. Survey data indicated the webinar had a positive impact on how attendees view the role of animal-sourced foods in early childhood development, with 75% stating they would make changes to their practice based upon key learnings from the session. One health professional in attendance stated that beef was not generally a food they would recommend at such a young age. However, with the rise in anemia in children of that age group, they would now. Smith Center rancher and member of the Cattlemen's Beef Board Nutrition Programming Committee, Philip Weltmer, said checkoff-funded events like this are vital to sharing accurate, peer-reviewed data demonstrating beef can be part of a healthy diet at any age. He explained that since he can't be engaged in these conversations while he's working...
No one plans to get sick or injured, but when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
This is Derek Hermish with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom, taking a look at this week's agricultural markets. And as we look at the agricultural markets, the one we want to spend the most time talking about this week is the crude oil market and gasoline market subsequently. But crude oil, the day after Thanksgiving, experienced a big drop. $9 to $10, depending on what time of the day you looked at it, but an over a 10% drop in the overall value of the commodity itself. And as you look at crude oil, it is very important, especially now, because our ethanol profit margins have been as good as they have been in some time, and especially in the last month. And when you look at what the overall cash development of corn prices has been, it has a lot to do with the ethanol side of it driving it. Not just futures price that have rallied in the last month or two since some of the lows of harvest, but also basis around the country has improved dramatically as well. If those ethanol profit margins are to be decreased or disappear, should crude oil continue on its downward spiral that it has been in for the last several days, you could see a development occur where corn is not quite the darling that it has been. And soybeans the same way. Biodiesel and bean crush a little bit more of a third-hand back calculation to crude oil prices, but some connection nonetheless. It is something you want to be watching as a producer here, as a marketer of your crops, and keeping a close eye on as we go forward and see what develops. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
Well, that's our show. Be social with us at KansasAgReport.net or on our social media channels. We look forward to finishing the year strong and an even better 2022. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Are you looking for Medicare Supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare Supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare Supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare Supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.